What's up? I'm B and welcome to my channel. Today I am super excited to bring you another interview with a fellow content creator, Sharon from the channel Sincerely Sharon. We had so much fun sitting down and chatting about her channel history, the kind of content she used to make, what it was like being a family vlogger, and how she ultimately decided to stop, and what she does on YouTube now. And it was really fun. I am so grateful that she took the time to sit down with me and have this chat. And without any further ado, please enjoy the interview. And when you are done, make sure you go to Sharon's channel, give her some love, and thank her for sharing her time with all of us here. So I am super excited to hear about your time creating content, doing family vlogging, and all of that. Let's just get started with asking the question of how you got into content creation in the first place.
Content creation. So I actually started like in 2013, I think in July 2013. So
Wow.
it's been a long time. It's coming up on 10 years if it hasn't already, actually. So I started because I was a teen mom.
Hmm.
I got pregnant at 17 years old, and I during my pregnancy, I was basically like consumed by watching other people tell their stories, other people
Hmm.
sharing. And it was a very much different climate than it is now.
Yeah.
So seeing everybody share their stories, I didn't feel so alone.
Hmm.
I felt that I had somebody to relate to. And I was really, really shy, which is funny because now I'm on here talking all the time and it's almost like natural.
Hmm.
But I was very, very shy, and you can tell very much so. I think everybody's first YouTube video is really awkward and just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do I talk to the camera? Am I talking to like what's going
Hmm.
on? So you could very much see that in my first video, but I didn't get the courage to do it until my son was 3 months old. So I never filmed like any pregnancy updates. I never did any of that. I
Hmm.
just started vlogging, and it was very much just vlogging and sharing my experience as a teen mom and being able to relate to other moms.
That's really cool. And so when you started that, did you feel like you gained traction pretty quickly, or was it more of just like, I'm doing this for me, and if anybody watches, they watch?
I naturally am a very like pessimistic person. So just I was just talking to my husband because I was like going through the questions with him,
Hmm.
and I was telling him I don't think I ever at that point you could see that YouTube was profitable for some people. It was
Hmm.
2013. It was already very much established. So that was definitely a conversation that I was aware of, like that is a possibility that can happen. But because
Hmm.
I'm so pessimistic, I'm like that's never going to be me. There's no way. And I never really just did it for that. It was more
Hmm.
of that connection, and it was just different.
Okay. Just kind of looking for community as opposed to
Community.
wanting it to be like a profitable thing or a stream of income.
Yeah, and I wasn't ever really consistent
Hmm.
either, um, at all. Even when I would do, like, weekly vlogs, I would say, "Oh, this month I'm going to" what was it? Like, the Christmas time when everybody posts every single day, I can't think of
Oh,
what.
Vlogmas?
Yes, Vlogmas.
Yeah.
There was one in October as well where they would vlog every single day, and I would always start, and I would give up after, like, the 10th day. So, even just back then when I was a stay-at-home mom, it was really hard for me to commit to YouTube as a whole. So,
Gotcha. You're like,
yeah.
it's been enough. It's been 10 days. We're good.
So, yeah.
So, what were some of the fun parts of doing family vlogging?
I think the production value behind the vlogs, I know everybody says like, "Oh, I do it for the memories," which is fair.
Hmm.
I take pictures of my kids obsessively all the time. Like, "Oh, he's having cereal, a picture." And my husband's like, "You don't have to document everything."
Oh my gosh.
So I love that,
Mhm.
but versus the vlogs that I would make back then where it had a beginning, it was more of a storytelling. There was
Mhm.
music behind it. That was really fun for me versus now I'm not, really required to. I don't really have any motivation behind making those family vlogs. I don't have time. So even for us, I don't do that. I wish I had more time because the production value behind those family videos are really so nice. I feel
Yeah.
so bad because like my oldest, I have up until he was like 3, I think I was vlogging pretty consistently.
Mhm.
Um, but for my youngest, there's no vlogs. There's random pictures, there's random little videos, but there's no vlogs really.
Yeah. That's a common thing because as the youngest sibling in my family, my older siblings, their baby books stacked thick. Mine are like a few pages.
Like, what
So
happened?
I'm like, "Oh, you guys were just done by the time I came along, I guess."
Got it. Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
But I think that's my favorite part that I miss,
Mm.
just the production value behind the vlogs.
Being able to go look at those memories and have it be, like, in the moment with all the music and everything, I bet is really fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I know I said that I wasn't really consistent as far as being a daily vlogger or anything
Mhm.
like that. I think one of the like the hardships for it was it's kind of taxing a little bit to constantly be on,
Yeah.
which is something that I kind of bring up to when I'm doing my commentary videos now. I remember being having my kids do something cute and then being like, "Oh, can we do that again?" Just so that I can catch it on camera.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not really enjoying that moment. I'm just more so focused on just being able to capture that moment.
Mhm. Yeah, and you're
Um,
not, like, living in it. You're like, "Oh, wait, hold on, that would be good for the vlog."
yeah, yeah. So that was a little, I would say, taxing
Mhm.
from that point of view. So that was always kind of something that was one of the reasons that I wasn't so consistent because I wasn't willing to sacrifice like my mental health or my
Mm.
headspace. I
Mhm.
wasn't willing to be uncomfortable to constantly be on. I
Yeah.
would just vlog whenever I felt like it,
And how
which, yeah.
yeah, how many years did you do that for?
Um, for about 3 years, 2000, I think 2013 through 2016, so 3 years, was
Okay.
where I was putting out vlogs at least once a week.
Gotcha. Did your kids ever, like, acknowledge the camera or be like, "No, I don't wanna do it again," or anything like that?
No, he wasn't like, no, I'm not going to do it again, but he would want to show the camera things.
Oh.
It became a little performative almost.
Mhm.
Like he wanted to show the camera like a drawing that he did, things like that, because
Yeah.
he knew it would be included into the video.
He wanted to show off.
Yeah.
That's cute, and I've had this conversation in the comment sections on certain videos of people being like, "Do you think the kids enjoy being in front of the camera or being part of like, being able to contribute?" And I think to an extent, some kids do because they like being the center of attention or they like having that
Yeah,
attention on them.
recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
for
that's
sure.
cute. Alright, so I heard in one of your videos that you, worked with some pretty big brands when you were doing family
Yeah.
vlogging. What was that like?
Yeah, I actually so my platform has kind of grown a lot more recently.
Mhm.
I think I'm at 5,000. When I was a family blogger, I think the biggest I ever got was 2,600. So it was
Okay.
very, very small, more
Mhm.
so than I am now. Um, and I was able to, back then, there was a website called Full Screen
Okay.
where a bunch of creators would join. And I believe I remember seeing Brittany and Baby on there, other teen moms on there, and other creators, not just, not just teen moms, other creators like lifestyle, things like that.
Mhm.
And they would kind of connect you with a bunch of ad free or royalty free music. They would connect you with merch sites. They would connect you with a website called, I think it was Gen Video.
Okay.
They did all of the connecting you with brands, um, whether that be Huggies, Target, things like that.
Mhm.
For me, I was able to work with Huggies, Nickelodeon, and Hallmark. Those were the three
Oh my
brands that,
gosh.
even being a small creator,
Mhm.
um, that I got to work with. And it's interesting because even now, social media as a job is still very much uncharted territory.
Mhm.
So I can, even now looking back and doing research for this collab, I went back and looked through my emails and I looked through Gen Video, and I searched and I see like old conversations of me not really knowing what a fair rate is to ask for,
Mm.
what kind of what their requirements were. I think the only brand that actually paid me money was Huggies.
Oh, wow. So, like, Hallmark and Nickelodeon, it was just kind of an exposure thing, or?
Yeah. So Hallmark
Wow.
did just gifted me free items.
Okay.
And now looking back, there's so much that goes into collaborations and sponsorships, the video concept, just recording. It's so much more
Mhm.
than just, I know it sounds easy, but it's not.
Yeah.
So whenever influencers talk about um, doing sponsorships, it, yes, I get what we mean when we say like, oh, it's easy, it's simple. It's very much easy because it's just creative work
Mhm.
versus actual labor and working at Amazon 12-hour shifts.
Right.
So I understand where they're coming from, where they're saying like it's hard work because it does take a lot of time sometimes to come up with these things.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, why did I ever do those collabs? Why? It was so much work. All I got was free stuff that
Mhm.
now I don't use. Like,
Right.
what is going on? So the Hallmark one, I think, is
Mm.
the one that I'm the most regretful of
Oh, yeah?
because it was a lot more work than it was worth.
Mhm.
I think I had to do like 5 videos, and they weren't long, they were
Mhm.
short, they were under like 3 minutes, I think. But it was just work. It's having to
Yeah.
get through and edit it and come up with how am I going to market this to an audience, things
Yeah.
like that. I think the one that I did with Nickelodeon, that one also I think might have paid me. It was like $50. It was not much.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they actually gave us there was a show at that time called Blaze and the Monster Machines,
Okay.
where Nickelodeon had these new toys that they were advertising or wanting to advertise. Super, super cool. My kids play with that toy still to this day, and it's been kind of gifted down to the little one, and he loves that little
Yeah.
car. So he still plays with it. So it's just funny every time I see it, I'm like, that was a sponsorship. Think that one was the funnest one. It's interesting
Mhm.
to hear conversations. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking a lot.
That's the whole point of having you, is to hear your story. Go.
um, um, it's interesting to see commentary channels give their perspective on children being in sponsorships because
Mm.
they say, oh, they're working. Oh, they're, being performative, doing all this stuff. Are they being compensated? And I think back to that moment where my son was in that sponsorship where I wasn't really gifted or given any compensation other than $50 and a free toy.
Mhm.
It was an opportunity for us to kind of get together and do an activity where we built the track, and it was very much wholesome. It wasn't so much staged. It was literally just us building that track
Yeah.
and launching little cars. It had like a whole little tunnel, and it was pretty cool. The tracks are all gone. The cars were the only thing that remains.
They've
um,
survived.
they've survived the test of time. um, so it's interesting to hear that. I don't know. Obviously, I was a very small creator.
Mhm.
I only ever did 3 sponsorship with brands.
Mhm.
It's interesting to have that conversation because I can only imagine what these huge brands are paying out. Who knows how much they're giving them, and
Mhm.
who knows how much work is going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like, I mean, even though you didn't get anything really out of those sponsorships, at least you were able to do something fun with your.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with my son, and then
Yeah.
even just getting the experience of doing those emails back and forth, and
Mhm.
um, and the Huggies one was the one that I'm also a little bit regretful too, just
Yeah.
because that was obviously like a potty training sponsorship.
Mm.
That was something that I think was a little bit too personal. It's something that now 27-year-old me is like, why do I need to share my child being potty trained? Like,
Right.
I don't feel comfortable with that. I would not do that today. I did it then, and that's something that I'm kind of going through those emails. I was reading, and the things that they're asking. how old is your child? How much does he weigh? What clothing size does he wear? Just things that they were asking. I don't know. It's just like for them to gather all that information so that
Yeah.
they can kind of market to the audience. I don't know. It's just strange
Yeah, that's a lot of info about your child to give
to
out,
be
and
giving out. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think,
Um,
what could they want it for?
I don't know. Maybe demographics when they're marketing out to people. I don't know.
Yeah, it
This is
could be.
interesting. But I think I made like $200 off of that sponsorship. So again, I did make some money, but it
Mhm.
wasn't like a huge like. And again, I want to reiterate that I was a very small creator, more so than I am now. I still am small, but it's just interesting that they were willing to work with us.
Yeah, I think they saw the value in, like, how widely you could market family channels and, like, how far they could reach, and so probably wanted to get in there early.
Probably.
Yeah. So, when did you kind of start feeling like maybe you wanted to step away from doing family vlogging?
um, I would say probably in 2017, it was more of a timing issue. Like I didn't always have time to do vlogs and it became a little bit tedious. And then I got pregnant with my youngest
Mhm.
that December 2017.
Okay.
So with his pregnancy, I believe I did a pregnancy announcement video.
Mhm.
But I think at that point I was already just starting to take a step back because at that point the conversation of child or family channels being kind of problematic was already starting to be had.
Mhm.
Not as widely as it is now,
Right.
but it was already starting to become a conversation. Um, and I can think back to the specific vlog where I wanted to kind of announce that I would be stepping away from family vlogging.
Mhm.
Um, it was right before the pandemic. I remember this because I had lost so much weight to celebrate my anniversary. I don't know what I was thinking. I just wanted it to be really special. And I remember because I wore this really beautiful white dress. And I remember in the video saying, I don't want to vlog my kids anymore. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And that was like what, February 2020.
Mhm.
And then, of course, that May, the whole Micah Stoffer happened, which kind of solidified that for me. And then, yeah, it just became this huge conversation. I know DCP came up around that time.
Mhm.
And his video with the analytics kind of prompted me to share why I was going to stop family vlogging. But at that point, I was very much removed. I think I was starting to just do makeup videos. That was
Mhm.
all I was like, I'm just going to do makeup videos. If I grow, fine. If I don't, fine. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I just don't want to vlog my kids.
When you made that announcement, did anybody have anything to say about it? Like, any questions or negative feedback?
I actually was scared to say anything. So I
Yeah.
actually never, that clip where I'm talking about the anniversary vlog, I never put it in.
Oh.
I never put it in. So I took
Gotcha.
it out. I was like, maybe I'm not going to share that. But I remember
Mhm.
filming it. When posted my video that I believe you saw where I shared why I'm no longer a family blogger, that
Mhm.
one did start a lot of conversations. People were saying, "Oh, well, we're happy for you. We're happy for your kids' privacy, things like that." Nothing really negative.
That's
I
good.
was expecting some negativity, but
Mhm.
you know, nothing
Yeah.
happened.
Well, it seems like sometimes with family creators or people who feel a certain sense of entitlement, like to seeing the kids or to being involved
Yeah,
in that daily life. And so that's something I would be afraid of is somebody feeling like they have a right to
to see
see.
my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at that point I had already stopped being so consistent, even more so than I was. Like
Yeah. Like phased
that
out.
people just didn't even notice.
Gotcha. And so when did you start deciding that you wanted to talk about other family vloggers and have conversations about some of the issues with that?
Um, I like to talk. I've always actually been a part of like conversations. I know there's been like there's discords, there's forums, there's Reddit. I've always really been on those and I've always seen people share their perspective and opinions and I've always wanted to say something,
Mhm.
but I've never ever commented on them. I've never said anything. I've never even commented when I disagreed with a creator. I've never commented on their video saying I wish you would have done that differently. I've never done that. Even though I wish I could. So that's
Yeah.
kind of what prompted me to be like, you know what? I'm just gonna change my everybody's doing commentary now. Why not? Let me
Yeah.
just start my own channel, share my thoughts. I contemplated kind of diving into like the pop culture YouTube commentary space,
Mhm.
and it was, in my opinion, already really oversaturated. There's like so many content creators that give their
Yeah.
commentary. And to be honest, I didn't feel as comfortable making videos because I wasn't as knowledgeable on it. But
Okay.
something that I was very knowledgeable about was family vloggers, because that's what I had been seeing for all of these years. So it just kind of seemed natural for me to kind of give my commentary. There was things that I disagreed with, there was things that I agreed with, and I just wanted to share my thoughts.
Yeah, and I think you come from a really valuable space because you've done it. Like, you know about that. You have the knowledge, like you said. And so you're not going to come on here and just rip everybody to shreds. You're going to be very fair because you're like, well,
I
I,
understand.
yeah, like you've seen both sides of it kind of. So I think that's really valuable.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to ask it, do you think that family vlogging should stop like altogether, or do you think there's an ethical way for people to do it in this day and age? Because I feel like back then, like 2013, like you said, it was a really different climate. A lot of people did it for community. And now
Yeah.
it seems like maybe there's a different bit of motivation.
Yeah. Um It sucks because I feel like there should be a way to do it. I'm
Hmm.
not like anti family vlogging. I don't think all family vloggers are wrong. The only thing I have a problem with is when you're sharing like these intimate details, when your thumbnail is like your child getting hurt every 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I just posted Sun Kissed Mama, and she lost her child again. And it's like, you've lost your kid more than 5 times in under 8 months
Oh
time
my
span.
gosh.
And at this point, are you actually losing your child, or are you just doing this for clicks and views? So
Hmm.
that's kind of where I have a problem with, but I do recognize that in order to be successful, they need that clickbait. They need to basically exploit their children's hardships and
Yeah.
difficulties, because without it, they're not going to be generating a sustainable income. So with that in mind, I feel like there's not a way for them to be family vlogging. I definitely wish there could be,
Hmm.
but I don't think that there is with how YouTube works. If they don't do all of these things,
Right.
post drama stuff, they're not going to grow, and they're not going to keep their audience engaged in their content.
Mhm. It reminds me of Jordan Cheyenne when they had the issue with their dog and her kid was crying and she was like, "Look like you're crying." And I said, "I am," and it was all for the thumbnail. And so it's like, I get it. You're using that as content. People are gonna care because it's your kid's upset and your dog, and it's like a necessary evil. But is that evil worth it? Because your kid is having a tough time.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand that, and that's kind of where like my qualm with it like
Hmm.
stems from, is just all of the things that go on behind the scenes that we don't necessarily see as viewers, but I can only imagine. And I don't want to like speculate so much, because then I feel that is not really fair, because we're
Hmm.
not there, we're not seeing it. But
Right.
based on that image that Jordan Cheyenne put out, and it's just what really is going on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I really try my best to be fair,
Hmm.
which is hard, because we're just giving our opinion based on what we see.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously, I don't agree with the things that they're doing,
Mhm.
but I also think it would be unfair to generalize all family influencers, or just everybody, because they're all different. And again, like I said, I know it's easy for us to speculate, but that's not really fair because we're not really there.
Mhm.
We're not seeing all that stuff. So, I mean, I that was something that I personally had a hard time with, was the clickbait,
Mhm.
was because it feels forced. It felt forced for me, and it didn't come natural. There's one particular video that I did that, oh, I cringed so much, because I'm like, why did I do that?
Oh,
Why?
no.
And my son actually, we were out in down in the downtown area, and he was messing with my phone, and he actually called the police. An accident. It was very, very brief,
Yeah.
but I, ended the call quickly. Nothing happened.
Mhm.
But when I said, Liam, you called the police, he burst into tears. Like that was just his natural
Oh.
reaction. And we had been vlogging at that time. So
Mhm.
I obviously didn't say like, oh, pose for the camera. It was just very natural because we were vlogging at that time and I was already consoling him.
Mhm.
My husband did have the camera on though, and I just took a screenshot of that and added that as a thumbnail. And I
Yeah.
think that was the most like clickbait that I ever did, and I felt gross even
Yeah.
just doing that.
Even
So,
though it was an authentic moment, you still
yeah,
felt like,
like yeah, so when I see the, oh, my son broke his back or fell off of the playground and almost drowned, story
Yeah.
time. I'll explain everything. Watch the video. It's like,
Right.
it's hard not to be, really? Are you kidding me?
Well, it's like, there's no way your life is that dramatic with everything. Because, like, with Sunkissed Mama, the one where they had to take down their trampoline, she's like, "We have 3 days. We broke the rules," and it
Oh,
makes
with
it,
the landlord one?
yeah, it makes you think like they're getting evicted, and it's literally just you can't have a trampoline in your backyard.
Yeah.
So,
So it's interesting to see. So
mhm.
I'm happy to cover it, but I also think that as commentary channels, we need to remember to be fair.
Yeah.
Understand that they're real people with,
Mhm.
real emotions. They're not always going to get it right, just as I am not always going to get it right. So, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of gray, black and white. It's not all gray. There's gray areas in between. It's not just black and white.
Yeah, I think it's a really valuable point to make because you just never know what happens when the camera gets turned off. And I think it can be really easy to, if you find success in talking about a certain creator or a certain topic, just get kind of carried away with it
And
and
caught up.
get really like nitpicky or just kind of forget that like that's a person on the other end and maybe you disagree with them, but you don't know them. You don't know everything that they've gone through or that they're doing. And so I think
And
it's
social relationships.
right. And so I think it's good that you have that perspective because that keeps you from, I don't know, like,
Grounded almost. I don't know.
yeah, it just, I think it kind of keeps you in a headspace of, I still want to talk about this thing and it's an important topic, but you don't get carried away with the more negative aspects of
Yeah.
talking about other people, I guess
Yeah.
is how I'll say it.
I understand the desire behind the family vlogging aspect of wanting to stay home, of
Mhm.
being with your children and not missing out on those, special moments that if you work outside of the home, you might miss out on.
Mhm.
Um, so I can understand the sentiment behind wanting to build a profitable business that's sustainable for you and allows you to work from home and stay with your children. So I understand where they're coming from. I
Mhm.
would love to stay home.
Yeah.
I also recognize that stay-at-home moms are like, what, superheroes? Because I I
Yes.
do love being at home with my kids, but I also do like going outside of the home.
Mhm.
But being able to hold down home base is next level, okay?
It is.
Yeah, so
Like,
um
props.
yeah, for sure. And even us working home or working moms, but I understand that sentiment. So I think it's wonderful that they're able to, like, I know we just talked about Sunkissed Mama, but for her to be able to pick up and move to a whole nother state solely based on her social media income, that's kind of
Mhm.
cool.
It's kind of the same thing with Jess Fam, where she has so many kids, and you think about how hard it would be for someone with that many kids to have like a lavish life and to be able to do all the activities and all the
That they
traveling.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so
that's a really good point, like, especially coming from, like, me living, I know she lives in Northern California, but I live
mm,
in California, so just being able to say, I can, just imagine her home was at least, like, 800,000, at least.
yeah.
Um, and being able to provide the lavish vacations that they do, and the outings as frequently as they do for a family of 7 kids, I believe.
Mhm.
That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
So I understand that that's kind of a nice perk, but at the same time, at what cost
Mhm.
has it come to? So I don't know. I love that it is becoming more of a frequent conversation, that it is now like an open conversation for
Mm.
not just as creators but viewers, and we're starting to kind of see. Um, Obviously, I want them to still continue to be successful, hopefully in a different way, because
Mhm.
that's a large family not being able to provide for themselves. That would be terrible.
Right.
Um, but it's interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, I just think it's a good conversation because there are positive aspects and negative aspects of it. Like we said, being able to take care of your family and take them on vacation with a social media income is super cool, but we don't know the long-term effects that that'll have on their family dynamics and their kids as a whole.
Absolutely.
So it's just something to be aware of, I guess, especially as consumers of content, just,
Yeah,
kind
I
of being
know.
aware of who you give your time to.
Or what
Yeah,
is it? What do they call it? Viewer currency? I don't know.
like
Virtual
social
currency, social media
social media.
currency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. Okay, so I wanna ask more about your channel now. What is your favorite part of having a YouTube channel?
Being able to say whatever I want. Welcome back to another video where I talk about pointless crap that nobody cares about.
You're like, "I can say whatever I want and nobody can stop me because nobody's here."
Yes. I do enjoy that. I really like talking to like my viewers and just
Mm,
starting conversations. I know some have gotten comfortable like in DMing me recently, and I'm like, yay, conversations. I love like seeing other people's point of view and their
mhm.
perspectives. I think it's very interesting to see both sides, or multifaceted.
Yeah.
Sometimes some topics have. It's really interesting to hear the feedback, and I love that actually.
Yeah, that's really cool to be able to hear different perspectives and just engage in conversation about things that are interesting to you. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
super cool. And have you ever gotten a comment, good or bad, that stuck in your mind? And if so, what was it?
Oh. To be honest, I have not really received like any like particular like bad comment that has really like stuck with me,
Mhm.
or even like a good comment either. I would say though, the video that I put out on Amanda and Sing,
Okay.
that video got a lot of, I was basically ratioed.
Oh, no.
So that video like still like traumatized me a little bit, because that's, I was sharing my thoughts authentically. I was a little bit sassy in that video. So
Understandable.
fair. But that was the first video that I was getting comment after comment after comment where they're like, "You're dumb, like you're a
Oh,
terrible
no.
Christian. Why are you even sharing your opinion if you don't even go to church?" And it's like, ugh. So that was very small scale. That video has like
Yeah.
5,000 views, I think, maybe. I don't even know. It doesn't have very. It's under 10,000 for sure.
Mhm.
And just the bombarding of comments. I think it has like 300 comments, but that was overwhelming for me. Okay.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, I bet.
Only imagine like influencers who get like bombarded with all of these like comments. I'm like, oh,
Mm.
sending you virtual hugs. I'm so sorry.
You'll just stay out of the YouTube app for a few days.
Yeah, it got to the point where I was like, I'm not reading comments. My
Mhm.
husband and my brother, you guys would look at the comments. I don't want to hear about how I'm not smart, and just I just don't want to hear that. So
Yeah.
it was really overwhelming for
Oh, I
sure.
bet. And did that go on for, like, a long time, or was it just a few days where you were kinda
It
fielding those?
was like, I would say almost 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if you know the DuckDuckGo app, where a lot of conservatives use that. It's like basically like a search engine. They
Okay.
don't want to use Google, so they use that app.
Mhm.
And you know how on the analytics, you can see where the viewers are funneling from.
Okay.
Could see like the majority, I basically fell into the conservative side of the internet,
Oh,
and
no.
everybody was ripping me a new booty hole. So very, very scary. Very interesting to say the
Yes.
least. I'm
Gosh.
gladly not going to touch on that topic, not anytime soon, because it was really overwhelming. So
Yeah.
it's scary to come out. And to be honest, when I put out my video on the Dad Challenge podcast,
Mm.
I specifically, in the beginning, I remember I said, it's scary to come out as a small content creator against someone that has a very large or cult following, I had said,
Mhm.
because I had already been through an experience like that a few months ago, which is what kind of made me take so long to come out and speak on it because I was
Mhm.
really scared.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's really intimidating when people like have something negative to say to you, but then when it's a mass group of people because they support somebody else, it's just like you hear the worst things about yourself and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Found another thing to be self-conscious about.
Right. Oh gosh. And that's did you get like I feel like with that video that you did with DCP, I saw a lot of kind of encouraging comments. Was that one received pretty well?
With that video, I remember thinking, okay, with the Amanda Ensing video, I was a little catty-ish. So with this DCP video, I'm going to try my very best to just share my experience without any of the sass, without any of
Mhm.
this is just me telling you guys my authentic experience. This is why I think the way that I do. So I think that kind of had a little bit of play on why it was received well.
Mhm.
I think Not Another Housewife at that point was one of the BX Beast Boy and Not Another Housewife were one of the few creators that had come out and shared their perspective. They do have a little bit more of a blunt delivery,
Mhm.
um, a little bit more harsh. So I think it's difficult for people to hear you out when you are delivering in a harsh way.
Mhm.
So I think that's why a lot of the comments, and that was actually a lot of the feedback that I got. You know what? You presented this topic in a very respectful way. That was a very common theme that I saw in my comment section. And I think that was kind of something that really solidified and implemented for me. You know what? Going forward, I'm going to try my best to be fair and not
Mhm.
as crazy in my delivery. So that's
Yeah.
why I still try to. I've been getting a little bit more free on that end, which I need to rein it back in. But I think people are more receptive to your thoughts and
Mhm.
opinions and listening to you if you're coming from a neutral,
Mhm.
calm standpoint. Like, yes, this can be a very infuriating topic, but you need
Mhm.
to be that calm, neutral place.
Yeah, well, that was the first video I saw of yours actually was the first one you did on DCP. And watching it, I was like, wow, I really like her delivery on this. It doesn't feel like low blows are happening or anything's being taken to an extreme. Like, I just, for me, because I communicate, I think, in a very similar way where I try not to be too sarcastic or too petty because I think there's a time and a place for it. But
Yeah,
if you're trying to change somebody's mind, they're probably
you're
not going to
not.
be super
Yeah.
receptive if you're like, yeah, if you take a different approach. And so watching that, I was like, oh, I'll go check out some other videos on her channel. And so
That's
I
so funny.
appreciated your delivery.
Fangirl moment because I had been watching you Haney for a while. So I'm like, what? This is so cool.
That's so funny. I get like that too. Whenever somebody like tags me that they're watching a video of mine or something, I'm like, "What?
I know,
People?
right?
Oh my gosh,
You're watching my video? Cool.
you're watching me?"
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, and the last thing I wanted to ask is what is some goal that you're working towards? Doesn't have to be YouTube related, could be big or small, but just something that you hope to accomplish.
Yeah. I think, well, right now my husband's going to school to finish his engineering
Oh.
degree. So right now I am basically like the sole income for my family at this time.
Mhm.
um Being that I never graduated from university and being able to make the income that I make now just based on work experience and
Mhm.
kind of climbing up that corporate ladder. I feel really proud of that. I just had a really huge promotion this
Yeah.
November, and I'm like, it's 6 months. I've been in this role for 6 months, and I'm doing so good.
Oh my gosh.
But I want to eventually go back to school. I want to get a business degree, maybe marketing. I think that would be
Okay.
so, so cool. That
Mhm.
is kind of a goal that I want to do once my husband finishes school. He has 2 more years left, and then we'll be this awesome superpower couple.
I love
So,
that.
um, being a daughter of immigrants, I'm an immigrant myself, and
Mhm.
being the oldest, I feel that I really disappointed my parents when I obviously got pregnant. I think getting teen
Mm.
pregnancy is a disappointment for any parent, really. But it was more because I felt that I had my dreams along with all of their hopes and aspirations of a better future, of being financially stable,
Mhm.
really poured into me. And when I got pregnant, I think that all kind of vanished. Not just my dreams were gone. It felt like their dreams were gone too.
Mhm.
So I think when I'm able to really but purchase my first home and say I did it. I have my parents. I'm able to provide a roof for them, and they can do whatever they want in the backyard if they want to. That will be okay. I made it. I did it. I've accomplished something. I've already accomplished so much, but
Mhm.
I think for me, that's kind of like the big thing, especially here in Southern California. I'm like, $500,000 for a one-bedroom house that's
Oh
500
my
square feet.
gosh.
Like, what? You got me messed up, okay?
Yeah, let's wait for this inflation to go down a little bit, and then we start on that dream.
Yeah. So, I always tell my husband, I'm like, "Hurry up and finish so we can be like a super power couple, okay?"
I love that, and congratulations on being able to be, like, the sole breadwinner in your family. That is, like, just super awesome. That's inspiring, really.
I'm like, "Yay." Yeah. That always I think this last year was really a big year for me, and I felt like, "Man, I never thought I would be here with
Yeah.
no educational backing, and hard work and perseverance like really did pay off, and
Mhm.
that makes me feel like, oh, good." Because I think of 18-year-olds like lost Sharon
Mhm.
working night shifts at JC Penney, making $9 an hour, crying, and I just want to go back in time and be like, it's gonna be okay. You are gonna be just fine.
Yeah,
Just keep
I love that.
yeah.
Alright, well, that's pretty much everything that I have for you. Do you wanna tell everyone where they can find your channel and Instagram and all that?
Yes. You can find me at Sincerely Sharon. And on Instagram, I am Sincerely Sharon as well. But if you want to follow my commentary Instagram, it's Sincerely Sharon Speaks.
Alright. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and tell your story and talk about all this stuff with me. I really appreciate it.
I'm like so excited. Thank you so, so much for having me on. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much for watching this interview. And again, a huge thank you to Sharon for sharing her time with all of us and just being so open to talk about her experiences. Please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if there's anyone else you would like to see me interview on the channel, and I will see if I can make it happen. And while you're doing that, if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel, that would be incredible. And if you have subscribed already, thank you so much. I am so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.